Guys, Amy here from Back to the Console, and this is the secret story between Sega and Nintendo, one of the biggest gaming rivalries in history. And who did you choose, Mario or Sonic? It was everywhere, but this is the story. I hope you enjoy the video. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, something incredible was happening inside the video game industry. Two companies were preparing for battle. This would become one of the greatest rivalries in gaming history. On one side, there was Nintendo, the unstoppable giant that had saved the video game industry after the crash of 1983. On the other was Sega, a company tired of being seen as the underdog and desperate to prove it could take down the king.
I am the king!
For years, Nintendo ruled the gaming world with the Nintendo Entertainment System. Characters like Mario and Link had become household names, and Nintendo controlled almost everything about its platform. Developers had to follow strict rules, and Nintendo's reputation was so powerful that many believed no company could challenge them. But Sega saw an opportunity. They didn't want to compete by copying Nintendo, they wanted to attack them. When Sega launched the Mega Drive in 1988 in Japan and late North America as the Genesis, the company knew it needed something different. Nintendo was seen as a family-friendly console, so Sega decided to make itself the rebellious alternative. Their message was simple. Sega was cooler, faster, and aimed at an older audience. The turning point came with the arrival of Sonic the Hedgehog in 1991. Sonic was everything Mario wasn't. He was fast, confident, and had an attitude that matched the changing culture of the 90s.
Piece of cake!
Sega didn't just release a game, they created a rival to Nintendo's biggest character. Suddenly, the battle wasn't just about consoles anymore, it was Mario versus Sonic, Nintendo versus Sega, and two completely different visions of gaming. Sega's marketing campaign became one of the most aggressive in video game history. The famous slogan, "Genesis does what Nintendo don't," wasn't a catchy phrase. It was a direct attack.
Genesis does
16-bit sports action.
You can't do this on Nintendo.
Sega mocked Nintendo for being slow and outdated while promoting its own console as the machine for teenagers and hardcore gamers. Their commercials were louder, their attitude was sharper, and they wanted everyone to know they were coming for the throne. Nintendo, however, wasn't going to give up easily. The release of the Super Nintendo in 1991 brought legendary games like Super Mario World, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Super Metroid. Nintendo focused on quality, creativity, and unforgettable experiences. While Sega tried to win with attitude and speed, Nintendo relied on legendary franchises to loyal fanbase. The rivalry became so intense that it even affected the way games were created. Developers found themselves choosing sides. Magazines compared every new release, and playground arguments became battles between Mario and Sonic fans. For the first time, gaming felt like the cultural war. Owning a Sega or Nintendo console became part of a person's identity. Behind the scenes, though, the war was even more complicated. They released add-ons like Sega CD and the 32X in an attempt to extend the life of the Mega Drive, but these decisions confused customers and damaged Sega's reputation.
That is one big pile of shit.
Nintendo took a slower approach, carefully protecting its brand and waiting until it was ready to move forward. The arrival of the Sega Saturn and Nintendo 64 changed the battlefield once again. Sega's Saturn launched early and struggled because of poor decisions, difficult hardware, and lack of strong support. Nintendo's N64 arrived later but delivered unforgettable experiences like Super Mario 64, The Legend of Zelda, and 007. The company that once looked like it might lose the console war had regained control of the throne. Although Sega eventually left the console market after the failure of the Dreamcast, the company's impact can never be forgotten. The battle between Sega and Nintendo pushed both companies to create better games, better technology, and more exciting experiences for players. Without Sega challenging Nintendo, gaming might have evolved very differently. The secret war between Sega and Nintendo wasn't just a fight over sales numbers, it was a clash of personalities, ideas, and generations. Nintendo represented tradition, creativity, and timeless characters. Sega represented rebellion, speed, and the desire to break the rules. In the end, Nintendo won the console war, but Sega created something just as powerful. A legacy that millions of gamers still remember today. The rivalry between Mario and Sonic, Nintendo and Sega wasn't just a chapter in gaming history, it was the moment when video games became more than a hobby. They became a passion, a culture, and a battle that gamers around the world still talk about decades later. And there we go, the battle between Nintendo and Sega, a rivalry that we all to this day remember. Mario or Sonic in the playground, it was SNES or Mega Drive, it was everywhere. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and then tell me your stories. Tell me what you thought about this whole thing and comment below. See you all in the next video. Thank you.